Coming off another open date early on in the schedule, Georgia State football set to open Sun Belt Conference play this weekend at Coastal Carolina. We'll preview the game and talk football with head coach Sean Elliott. A little later on in the show, Georgia State basketball. The Panthers in fall practice, getting ready for 2017. We'll talk to head coach Ron Hunter and the reigning freshman of the year in the Sun Belt, DeMarcus Simons. This week on the Georgia State Sports Update. Hi again, Panther fans, and welcome into the Georgia State Sports Update. Dave Cohen joined here from the Georgia State football locker room at Georgia State Stadium by head coach Sean Elliott. And, Coach, welcome to the show this week again. And, an off week because of what happened with the Memphis game. An extra week of practice now as you get ready for Sun Belt Conference play. Saturday night we'll be up in Conway, South Carolina against the Chanticleers of the Coastal Carolina University.
Yeah, we had another open date, and to tell you the truth, everyone seems to think that it was, a bad deal. Of course, we wanted to play, but the open date was kind of refreshing, to tell you the truth. I mean, we're catching our breath. We're able to get more reps in and build our football program. These guys are gaining experience through practice reps, so it's really been a blessing for us, to tell you the truth.
And again, we won't talk about Charlotte because we did that on the show last week, but the manner in which Georgia State won that ball game, extra skip in their step as they come out to practice for the extra week and get ready for, again, what we know is very important, the first conference game.
Yeah, we had the upbeat practices, and that led into our game, and I think we're just right on track doing the exact same thing for this week. Practice has been good, up-tempo. Guys have been having a good time learning and practicing hard, but still enjoying themselves while at practice. So that is something we look to hopefully a little bit of foreshadowing about how we're going to play on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a much overused or sometimes often overused word, although it's very important, and that's confidence. But when I've been out at practice, it looks like a very confident bunch coming out of the previous game, getting ready for the stretch run here in league play.
Well, I think so. Anytime you do something good, I mean, you're going to gain confidence from it. And if you look at how we won that football game, controlling the football, pitching a shutout, and doing the things necessary to win a football game, certainly you're going to gain confidence. No different if you go out and you're taking a test and you studied all night for it and you get that A the next, when it comes back from the professor, you gain confidence in what you did to prepare for that test. So certainly we are a confident group.
Yeah. As you've gone back, I'm sure, as a staff and watched the previous game at Charlotte, were there one or two things, or hopefully not more than one or two things, that you feel like this team has got to continue to get better at? You and I were talking about some stats that we'll break down, and the trajectory is all headed up.
Yeah, our punting situation has to become a little bit better. We're having a little bit too inaccurate punts, I should say. We've got to get better on that. Very, very consistent moving forward. Overall in our special teams, I think, in our kicking game, our extra points, our field goal attempts. I mean, we've got to start to hit those and be more than, kind of 50-50 on that stuff, because before long here, I'm going to keep that offense out on, and I'm just going to go for it every time. So look for that if we continue to struggle in the kicking situation.
Well, you're giving them opportunities because in the previous game, three different guys handled punting at certain junctures of that game.
Yeah, we're trying to find the right guy, and we have situational punters that whether we want to rugby it right or kick it deep or however we want to do it, we put those situational punters in there. So maybe it's a sense that we need to go with one. Maybe we still continue to do that type of thing, because one of the positives, we're not getting returns.
Right.
I mean, they're not returning the football on us. So that's a huge plus in it.
Again, we're talking to Sean Elliott here, Georgia State's head football coach. Coastal Carolina's 1-3. And they're making that transition. They're kind of walking the path we took a few years ago, the transition from FCS into FBS football. They're 1-3. They've given up over 100 points in their last two games, Western Illinois and at Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah, Let's hopefully make it 3 in a row and give up 150. But it's going to be a different football team going back and playing at their place in their home stadium. I mean, their defense is talented. They've got a defensive end I think one of the more talented players that we've seen in our 3 previous contests. Their secondary runs well. They play hard. They run to the football. So don't look at the stats. These guys are going to come out ready to play and be well coached and probably try to give us fits all day long.
Yeah. The fact that offensively it's an option football team presents a different kind of challenge defensively as opposed to one that's coming out there throwing all over the place.
You say it's an option football team. I mean, they're going to run the belly where they'll hand it off inside. They'll run the belly option, trap option, speed option, a lot of different variations, inside zone run option. We just got to know where we fit defensively. We can't try to do too much as an inside linebacker, running over the top of the belly and then busting up an inside run. You got to know your fits. Everyone has to say discipline assignment football when you play teams like this. But we need to strike them. I mean, when they bring the thing to the edge, we need to make sure they understand that you bring it out here, you're going to get struck. So.
Yeah, and I've heard it when you address the team after each practice. I've heard it on more than one occasion, and you just mentioned it again, and that's assignment football. And from a defensive standpoint, assignment football is exactly what it is. Know your assignment. It's a little different when you face a team that runs more of an option as opposed to
it is for the fact that it carries out everybody's assignment through the course of the play, whether it's the trap inside and then it sprints to the quarterback scenario of the assignment with the linebacker or the outside linebacker, then it gets all the way out to your edge pressure players where it's your corner and safety. So it makes everyone play their assignment from inside to out. It's not just like the running the power at you and you got to fit different gaps. I mean, that thing carries out from inside, from the center, all the way to the outside of the wide receiver.
Yeah. Normally, Georgia State has seen it, well, in the last couple of years, just the one time against Georgia Southern. And the last couple of years have played it pretty well. Georgia State offensively, Coach, again, including Charlotte, as we said, the numbers, if you look at the numbers with regards to the air attack and the ground attack, the numbers are just going up.
Yeah, and they need to continue to do that. I mean, I think the more you practice the right way, the better they will become. And we are moving in the right direction. And that's very, very good to see from a standpoint of where we started and how we're progressing, because playing that Penn State game, you would have probably thought we wouldn't have been as successful as we were. I think we were 11 of 21 on third downs. We rushed for 150 some odd yards, and we're doing things that good football teams need to do: control the tempo, control the time of possession, run the football, and be sound on third down. So yeah, we got to continue that trend and go out and stay in manageable down and distances.
And again, you look at those numbers: 49 yards rushing in the opening game against Tennessee State. And of course, in a lot of our interviews, you'd mentioned that we are going to run the football, and that's the number that goes up. 150 yards against Penn State, 150 yards against Charlotte. Again, that number just continues to go up as the running game begins to take traction and the offensive line continues to play as well as they've been playing.
It really is. I think we rushed for 195 in Penn State, and we had a few sacks that gave us lost yardage and then one run, so that was very, very good to see. And then a consistent running attack against Charlotte up there at their place. So we've got to continue to do it. We're going to run the football. I mean, so whatever, that's just the way it is. We're going to try to control the down and distances, get in manageables, but we're going to run the football doing so.
Kyler Neal was injured, did not make the trip to Charlotte. Is he good for this game, and how is Taz?
I think Kyler's straight. He's been practicing well. Taz is in the process of getting back on the field. He's running on the side, but I anticipate him probably being back here pretty soon.
We had Connor Manning on the show if you missed it last week. And how about his numbers? 56 of 83 so far, 542 yards, almost 68% completion rate. That's a nice balance when you're building a running game.
Yeah, it is. It is. He's done a good job, throwing the football and managing the reads that he does. The turnovers will stick out a little bit early on, but we're going to try to eliminate those. He had 0 the last game, so that trend needs to continue. But he's done a fine job. He really has. And had he had an opportunity to finish that first contest, who knows? But yeah, I think Connor is working to build himself into a very, very stable, solid quarterback that we can lean on at times when we need to.
You mentioned it last week. It was in the stats. Maybe it might have been your favorite stat of the win at Charlotte, and that was time of possession, which was almost 2-1. That says a lot about your third down conversion rate and the ability for the offense to move the football, in this case, both on the ground and in the air. But through 3 games, Coach, 49%, 24 of 49 on third down conversions. I know you love that number.
I love that number. I mean, when you're 50% on third down, then you're putting a lot of fear in a lot of opponents. And to tell you the truth, it's being able to control the football by a running attack and having a manageable down and distance. I mean, you can't go in there and expect to convert 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 12s. We're not committing a lot of penalties, therefore we're not setting ourselves up in the 3rd and extremely long. So we've got to continue doing that, and if we do that, if we stay right on track, then we should be right there where that number is.
And again, the defense has played well. Opponents through 3 games, 29% on third down conversion rate, which is big. And, of course, it goes into that whole time of possession number.
Yeah, we like for that to be about 15-10, but, you know, Coach Fuqua will have to get that going. 29% is great. I mean, we're always looking to be better, but those guys have done an exceptional job. I think the game plans are right where they need to be. Our coaches are coaching their tails off, and our players are responding to their coaching.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a problem in the past, and this is the other number that I know that you like, and that's the penalties, or lack thereof. Least penalized team in the country in Division I right now with 10 for 81 yards.
It's really amazing, to tell you the truth. And I noticed that, but I didn't know it was that extreme. I mean, to be leading the nation in the penalties. And then what that goes to show you is that we have a disciplined football team that's doing exactly what they need to be doing. They're doing what their coaches are allowing. One of the things we don't do as a staff, we don't allow a lot of showboating. We don't allow a lot of individualism. We try to play the game the right way in a respectful manner, but play it hard. And our team is taking notice of that. I mean, it starts from the very, very basics of just the undershirt that they wear out there on the field on game day. I mean, it gripes me to see a guy out there with a blue undershirt, a guy out there with a white, one untucked, one on this, a guy that's got his shirt, you know, tucked up under his shoulder pads. We're trying to create a very, very consistent, sound football team that plays as a team and not as an individual, and that's very reflective in the penalties.
Yeah, because, you know, as you know, penalties are just drive killers.
No, there's no doubt about it. And coach killers.
And coach killers
coach
as
killers.
well.
They kill the coach worse than they do the drives.
But, you know, obviously that hasn't been the case here for Georgia State this season. Real quick, your thoughts as you get ready for conference play, because you kind of break the season up, at least I did, into 3. The first 4 games, which for us ended up being 3, and then the stretch run through the meat of the Sun Belt schedule.
It's our first conference game, so it's very, very important for us. Conference is a ring game. It's something we're going out and we're trying to accomplish. I mean, you don't win anything by winning the non-conference games, but they're still important. But when you get into conference play, I mean, you can pinpoint. I always say you win it, you wear it, and that's the ring. And that's the championship that we strive for. And we strive for it game by game and quarter by quarter and play by play, not in looking forward. But it's a ring game. It's a very, very important. It's the first opportunity to go out and take that step towards a championship. So it is it's right there at the top of our mind every single day.
All right, Coach. Appreciate you joining us again this week. Good luck at Coastal Carolina. We'll see you right back here next week.
Thank you. Should be a good one.
All right, Georgia State at Coastal Carolina coming up Saturday night as they open up play in Sun Belt Conference. I want to thank Coach Sean Elliott joining us here on the Georgia State Sports Update. Time now for our Panthers in the Pros segment. Currently 4 Georgia State Panthers in the National Football League. Albert Wilson with the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs played the Washington Redskins on Monday Night Football. Albert with 4 catches, 63 yards, including a 37-yard catch that set up what was the go-ahead field goal. The Chiefs won that game Monday night, 29-20 on the season. Through 4 games, Albert has 14 catches, 140 yards, 1 touchdown. Also of note, former Panther wide receiver Robert Davis, Georgia State's all-time leading receiver, is currently on the Washington Redskins practice squad. Will Lutz is in his 2nd season kicking for the New Orleans Saints. Saints beat the Miami Dolphins Sunday over in London. Lutz was 2 of 3 in his field goal attempts, 2 for 2 in his extra points. On the season, he is 10 of 13 in his field goal attempts. And finally, Ulrich John is now with the Green Bay Packers. The Packers claimed him earlier last week after the Arizona Cardinals waived him, and he ended up playing with the Packers in his first game in Green Bay's win over the Chicago Bears in a game played last Thursday. That's your update on Panthers in the Pros. turn our attention to Georgia State basketball now as we continue with the Georgia State Sports Update. Talking right now to head basketball coach Ron Hunter. And Coach, great to have you on the show. And I think it's one of those things that at the end of the season last year, you were already looking forward to the summer and fall. And summer has come and gone, and you guys got a lot of work in. And you're in fall camp right now. How's it going? Because the start of the season will be here in about a month.
Yeah, it's going well. You know, we had a great summer, one of the better summers we had, and I thought this fall the guys did a great job, and now we're here. The great part is that we got a veteran group. You know, I think 7 of our top 9 guys are guys that have at least started a game, scored double figures in the game, and so when you got that much experience coming back with adding with the freshmen that we've got, really, really exciting.
Well, you look at this Georgia State basketball team, you lose your leading scorer, Jeremy Hollowell, leading rebounder, Willie Clayton. Willie's playing overseas and I guess doing pretty well. Isaiah Dennis, who was a 4-year player here and a leader on this team. Talk about the guys who have kind of moved up to fill those shoes, because when you lose your leading scorer and your leading rebounder, someone's going to have to obviously, pull up and fill that.
Well, that's the one thing I'm still excited about. It's the culture of our program. It doesn't matter, we don't have to rebuild a program here. Again, what we've been able to do, some guys leave, the new guys come in and replace them. We always keep veterans. And so when you have a culture of winning, that's something that we've been able to establish here, then we're always going to have those guys that understand and have been there before. And so our seniors understand that they can help the freshmen out. And so you still have some talent, and our freshmen are really talented, but they're learning how to play in our system. We lost some good players, but we think we're going to be much better in return. So again, I think that's part of the culture that we've been able to build here.
I remember the first time, Coach, you and I did an interview the day you were hired across campus over in the Georgia State Student Center. You talked about changing the culture and building the culture. Let me read a couple of quick stats right here. 4 times in the last 5 years, Georgia State basketball has won at least 20 games. And the 3rd time in the last 4 seasons, the Panthers have finished in either 1st or 2nd place in the Sun Belt Conference. I think the cement is pretty dry. And now all you're doing is just continuing to build and add to a solid foundation that you put together here.
Well, no question. That's something that we talk about. Again, we talk about a winning culture here. But it's not just what you talk. You got to be able to walk the walk with it. And so we've got guys that understand it. It starts in the summer. It starts in the fall for us. They understand our system. Our system's a little unique how we play. Yep. And so sometimes it takes freshmen and the new guys a little bit longer. But this group we've got here, they're picking things up. JT is a transfer. The transfer thing has really helped us, and we think he's going to be a great asset, being 6'9" and being able to help us. But it still comes down to the guys that we've gotten that have been in the system, that understand it, that played many minutes. And those stats that you read, we've got about 7 or 8 guys that have been a part of that.
Yeah, JT, Jordan Tyson, the transfer from St. Bonaventure. But you've got a core group that's back, guys that have been here and who know the system. You also brought in a fantastic group of freshmen.
Yeah, I'm really excited about our freshmen. They're really, really good. We got Dennis. I can't say his last name. I probably won't pronounce it right.
Ali Bogovic.
No, he's a freshman, so he's just Dennis right now. But he can really, really shoot it. I'm really happy to see him in our program. And I didn't know how much he's going to play. The way he's making shots now, he's going to play. He may play a lot. Yeah. Then Kane Williams, a solid freshman point guard. One of the better point guards we got in here, and so he's battling right now to get on the floor and start. And then we got the most talented kid that we've had in a while, outside of DeMarcus, is the 6'9" freshman and Josh Linder, who's just trying to figure it out a little bit. But his talent and his athleticism is something that we haven't had in a long time.
You mentioned Jordan Tyson. I just want to, between Jordan Tyson and what he brings with regards to rebounding, how does Jordan Sessions' role change at all this year? Do you see him playing more in and around the basket, or is he still, because he's the kind of guy who can go in and get your rebounds, but he can also step out from 12 to 15 feet and hit shots?
Yeah, Jordan is a senior. He knows how to play. He understands what he's doing in that regards, and so we want Jordan to be Jordan. What we want is a complementary to him, and that's what Jordan Tyson brings. He is a complete opposite of what he does. He's more physicality, more scoring on the low block. Jordan wants to bring you away from the basket, but we got a guy that we can throw the ball into in JT and score inside in that regard, and he's a great screener and rebounder. But we want Jordan Sessions to be who he is. We don't need him to change, and just with the opposite of how they play, it makes us better.
One guy I'm looking forward to see in his transition into another new season is Malik Bendlin.
Yeah.
Because Malik really started coming on consistently last year.
His confidence level is just unbelievable. He had a great sophomore campaign, and now he's a junior, captain of our team. You talk about a guy who's got a big-time basketball IQ, understands how to play, athletic, plays 4 positions for us. The guy probably plays 30, 35 minutes a game. We can't win games unless he's on the floor.
Yeah, and we went this long into the interview, and I did not mention DeMarcus Simons, who's going to join us a little later on in the show, your reigning Sun Belt Conference Freshman of the Year. How do you see him transitioning from what was a pretty good freshman season into the sophomore year?
Yeah, I'm gonna find 5 or 6 minutes to get him on the floor. We'll find 5 or 6 and see if we can play the kid. He's just talented. I mean, he's one of those guys. He just makes the coach look better. There's things we're trying to do in practice, and he's the only guy who can do it. And just throw your hands up. He's really, really talented. He's in that mode of Ryan Hare on RJ.
Yeah.
He's just, I've always said, I want to make sure our fans enjoy him. I don't know. I'm hoping he's here 4 years, but he is a very talented guard, and a lot to the George Hill. I coached George at IUPUI, and,
right.
and at this stage where he's at, probably a little better ahead of where George is at, and we've seen what George has done in the NBA.
All right, so what's the one thing or two things you're looking for from DeMarcus in his sophomore year that maybe you didn't see as the freshman? They always talk about the game slowing down a little bit because, last year he was excited, running around, playing on adrenaline, using his talent, a lot of times relying on talent. What are you looking for him? Or what do you see? Go back to when RJ was a freshman and what you wanted from him as he transitioned into that second year.
Well, I think the key thing is, the game has to slow down for him a little bit. And so when he does that, then he'll take care of the ball a little bit better. And then his outside shooting, he's worked tremendously hard this summer on becoming a better three-point shooter. And so I think that if you got to come up and guard that, you can't guard him one-on-one when he's playing downhill. He's too explosive, he's too fast. And so the game's got to slow down, and that's what I'm seeing early. The game slowed down for him. We've got the ball in his hand. We've got big-time shooters around him, so it opens the floor up for him. So now if he doubles, he's got to be able to hit that open guy and make those jump shots. And that's just part of the maturity of having the game slow down.
A couple of other stats that I picked up, and interestingly enough, out of a couple of the preseason college basketball magazines, Georgia State led the Sun Belt Conference in field goal percentage last year. And, of course, you got Jeff Thomas, Devin Mitchell, Isaiah Williams, Dennis Alibagovich, who joins the team. You got no shortage of guys that can knock down shots.
Yeah, we really made an effort, even in our recruiting. We're to the point now where we want to be able to shoot it at 4 or 5 of the spots, and we feel like we can do that. At some point, we can get all 5 guys out there to be able to shoot it. We think that this is as good as offensive team that we've had here since I've been here, and that includes the year we were 17-1 when we had RJ and Ryan and those guys.
Yeah.
And we just feel like this is a really talented group offensively, and now we got to get them to have that same talent on the defensive end.
And on the downside, the one stat that I picked up that really I had to read it twice to make sure that it was right. Did we lead the Sun Belt Conference in turnovers last year?
Yeah, first time since I've been a head coach that's happened.
Yeah, we still won 20 games.
Yeah, and that's what it drove me crazy. And that's why I like this team here, because I think this team will take care of the ball. Last year we just were careless with it. We had way too many turnovers, and so we were young in a lot of different positions. DeMarcus turned it over. Uncharacteristic. A lot of our seniors had turnovers, and so we got to do a much better job of that. And we're usually always in the top 4 or 5. Not only sometimes in the Sun Belt, but in the country, as you know, in turnover assist ratio. So we got to get back to that.
Again, we're talking to Georgia State's head basketball coach Ron Hunter. You have put together a pretty competitive schedule. And I'm not even talking about the Sun Belt Conference because that's just a given with regards to your non-conference schedule this year.
Yeah, I've lost my mind. I don't know.
Let me read some. Rice, Ole Miss, Tulane, UMass, Chattanooga, Dayton, Liberty, Montana. That's a mix-up of home and road games. Then you got the tournament out in Las Vegas.
Yeah. I wanted to challenge this group. This is a team that we think can compete for a championship, that can win in the NCAA tournament, and so we got to go out and play good teams. And so we're going to go on the road and do that. And but again, I'll take my chances with this group. I love the coaching this group. Defensively, I think we're going to be really good. And when you can shoot it the way we can shoot it, we're going to beat a lot of people.
Again, a first or second place finish 3 of the last 4 years in the Sun Belt Conference. You got the target on your back again with regards to the rest of the league. But UT Arlington's pretty good. Louisiana Lafayette's pretty good. Georgia Southern looks like they're going to be pretty good. It's going to be another race to the finish once we hit conference play.
Yes, like I told the guys, every year I've been in the Sun Belt, they're good teams. The staple is that we're always going to be one of the better teams. And so we've got to be, it doesn't matter who you play on any given night, you can get beat. And so you got to make sure you're ready to play. And what we do with that is that if our defense is always there, we're always going to be in games.
All right, Coach, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good practice the rest of the way, and we'll look forward to the start of the season. It's right around the corner.
Right around the corner. We're ready.
All right, I want to thank Georgia State's head basketball coach Ron Hunter joining us here on the Georgia State Sports Update. Coming up next, we'll talk more Georgia State basketball with the reigning Sun Belt Conference Freshman of the Year, DeMarcus Simons. And we're back here in the Georgia State Sports Update. We're still talking basketball. The reigning Sun Belt Conference Freshman of the Year is right to my left, and that's DeMarcus Simons. And DeMarcus, thanks for joining us. And you guys have been busy all summer. It seems like Corpus Christi and the CIT is a long time ago, and that's not a memory I know you want to keep at the front of your mind. But I think that game kind of drove you guys and all the hard work during the summer and to the point where you are right now in fall camp, getting ready for the 2017-2018 season.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. I feel like we didn't play to our full potential last year, so we wanted to work hard all summer. So when we finally got out here, we'd be ready, and we'd be ready to claim another championship for the school.
Yet this is a team that again won 20 games. You guys won a lot of basketball games. 20 is that magical number that everybody initially shoots for out of the gate. You guys were able to reach it again and reach postseason. You just didn't kind of finish the way you would have liked to have finished.
Yeah, we felt like we really underperformed all last year, so we wanted to just really work hard and fix all the little kinks and make sure that our team chemistry was on point this year. Coach Hunter's really taking us under his wing this year. He's just really putting us where we're supposed to be, and I feel like we're going to have a better year than Georgia State's had in a long time.
Well, the Panthers look a little bit different this year. Isaiah Dennis is not here. Jeremy Hollowell's not here. Willie Clayton's not here. Talk about those three not being here, and you got some fantastic freshmen that Coach Hunter and the staff have brought in, and you've kind of taken over at least one of the mantles as leaders on this team.
I would say the seniors last year, they played a big role. Jeremy Hollowell was our leading scorer. Willie was our leading rebounder, but we really replaced them. Sessions, Jordan Session, he always comes in and he does his thing. He's a great rebounder, he's a great player, great energy. And our freshmen are playing well. Josh Linder, great player, athletic. Dennis can really shoot lights out, honestly. And Kane's just one of the best passing point guards I've ever played with. And everyone else that's coming back, they've already taken a role, as a leader. So I feel like we're going to be moving in the right direction.
Now, I'm not sure if we have the video to use in the show, but I saw this video during the summer, and this was a summer camp that you participated in. I believe it was here in Atlanta where you were playing against Kyrie Irving. And I'm assuming some other NBA players. How was that to be able to take your game from, and we played some high majors last year on the schedule, but to be able to go out there and basically take your game and everything that you can do and put it on a floor against some of the best in the world?
Honestly, it felt great to be competing against Kyrie Irving, Iman Shumpert, Lou Williams, and more, Montrezl Harrell. It just felt great to be really out there competing and showing them what I could do, and them giving me that respect back. And it just honestly felt great, and it really just showed me where I would be in a couple years.
In all honesty, in that game, if you can take me back for just 30 seconds, after a while you get over the excitement dash awe of playing against those guys. After a while, do they just become a blank face and just become another guy in a jersey you're trying to compete against?
Just another player. It's basketball at the end of the day, so they can only do so much on a basketball floor. You know what I mean? Everyone has their moves, everyone has their tendencies. You just got to really break it down and just play ball. And everybody's everybody. Yeah. It's just a person.
What are you looking forward to most this season? It's a great schedule. A lot of good teams that are on this schedule, non-conference as well as Sun Belt. But what are you looking forward to as you work through fall camp and you look forward to the season getting underway?
I would say everybody here is looking forward to the NCAA tournament because that's where we will be this year, without a doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Well, DeMarcus, appreciate it. How's school going?
School's going great.
Because you got you're the student athlete. You've got to be able to balance what you're doing in the classroom with what you're doing in here.
Definitely.
That going good for you?
It is going good for me. I'm going to definitely be on the honor roll this year. Remember that.
All right. Well, that's good to hear. All right. Well, looking forward to a great season and best of luck.
All right. Thank you.
All right. I want to thank DeMarcus Simons joining us for a few minutes here on the Georgia State Sports Update as we talk Georgia State basketball. Tip-off of the season is just around the corner. That'll wrap it up for our show this week. I want to thank head football coach Sean Elliott, head basketball coach Ron Hunter, and for DeMarcus Simons, I'm Dave Cohen. We'll see you next week right here on the Georgia State Sports Update.